guys! A long time ago, I uploaded a video called Tips on Picking Your First Flute. I actually didn't really expect music school lovely students. I was really surprised to get a lot of requests from you guys, and I still get them today, about how do you pick a professional flute. Probably the most asked question within those requests is, what flute do I personally play? I have not really openly disclosed very much what flute I play, and this is because I don't want to start a trend. It's kind of like in fashion. Just because everybody loves wearing those t-shirts with really short sleeves does not mean that a person like myself can really wear them. I have very genetically chubby arms up here. It doesn't matter how toned my arms are, it doesn't matter how fat they are, they just look big. That particular trend does not work on me in the same way. Not every flute actually works on me the way it would work for you. Long story short, I am actually still opting to not disclose what brand of flute I play. I mean, unless you have seen my flute on camera and can tell what it is, because you know, lots of you being nerds and all. So yes, definitely I do believe in the whole thing about the flute choosing the flutist. That is something that I have taken out of Harry Potter, but it is very true. Just as the wand chooses the wizard, so the flute chooses the flutist. It is actually kind of a lot like wand shopping. Flutes can be made from all different kinds of metals. The keys can be made from a different metal. Depending on the metal that you get, the tone quality that you get out of it will be different. Silvers tend to be a little bit more projecting, gold being a softer metal, will sound a lot more mellower. Crowns can be made from different materials as well. The placement of the keys, you can get an offset G, you can get an inline G key, and you can get extra keys too. For example, the C sharp trill key. You can get a C foot joint or you can get a B foot joint. When it comes to searching for and purchasing a professional flute, you do have an Ollivander of sorts guiding you through it. For each major flute company, they actually have representatives who go out to different cities. They actually hold something like what I was just invited to and what I want to show you today. So I got invited to a Powell flute party. Powell is probably one of the most well-known flute companies in the world. Courtney Westcott, who is one of the two that owns Fluteworks Seattle, personally invited me to this party, and she introduced me to Daniel Sharp, who was the representative from Powell that was sent out to Seattle. Yes, it was called a flute party, but a flute party is actually quite chill, and it's actually mostly just you and the representative, and you just get to try flutes. There's one table with like all the different head joints that you can try, all the different flutes that you can try. I believe they brought a piccolo in as well. If you were looking for a piccolo, you can actually request for them to bring in more piccolos for you to try. And then they had another table with like more information. There was like a brochure, price listings, business cards and stuff like that. And they had a really cool, like a 5-peg flute stand. He started me on a flute that he thought would work for me, and then he started changing head joints to kind of look for what kind of flute works for me and my tone. Then he actually gave me different flutes to try within maybe 5 to 10 minutes. He wound up with a flute that was basically the Powell version of the flute that I own. This guy knows what he's doing. And that was it. It was actually really quick. So I did actually get a chance to talk with Daniel Sharp and Courtney Westcott on camera. Take a look. We are at Seattle Fluteworks. Was it Fluteworks Seattle?
Yes, Fluteworks Seattle.
Fluteworks Seattle. I always get it mixed up. I'm so sorry. This is Courtney Westcott, and this is Daniel Sharp, the Powell's representative.
Powell Flute Company.
Powell Flute Company. That's right. If you guys play the flute and don't know what a Powell is, honey, you need to look it up. Daniel Sharp is putting on a showing. Now, if you guys didn't know that this kind of stuff exists, Daniel can tell you guys how you guys can find out if you have a showing near you.
Yeah, I would highly recommend checking out the Powell website, not only for all the information that we offer about flutes in general and flute making, but also to check out our authorized dealer locator. It's really easy to use. You can put in your state or your zip code or whatever, and you can find out about great shops like Courtney Westcott's Fluteworks Seattle, and you can come here and try Powell Flutes. I'm sure that there's one in your area, so check it out.
Exactly. So I am obviously in the Seattle area. Fluteworks Seattle is the place to go looking at flutes, getting your flute repaired and stuff like that, because their shop is actually just downstairs. If you're in this area, well, now you know where to go. One last fun fact before we stop. Daniel Sharp was actually part of the YouTube Symphony. So for those of you who thought his name sounded familiar, that is why. You played the...
Piccolo.
He played piccolo. So which means that he was playing with Paul Hung. He's actually going to see Paul Hung tomorrow. Hi, Paul. The world is so small. So aside from telling you guys about these flute parties, I thought I would leave you guys with a few tips on trying professional flutes. First off, prepare your budget and stick with it. Professional flutes are very expensive, okay? I am just going to say it. Professional flute starts at about $10,000. There. I said it. This is why most of us don't get a car first. We get a flute. Yeah, in fact, you can finance a flute the way you would finance a car. Please be realistic. You will need to have the money prepared somehow, or at least go in knowing that you can finance this and that you can actually follow through. If you get really excited over a flute and you can't afford it, I mean, there have been so many terrible stories of people who have had to give up their dream flute because they were not prepared for it. When the representative asks you what your budget is, be honest. They will help you. Representatives are there to help you. I hope I have stressed the financial aspect of this enough. But for now, we will move on. In terms of actually trying the flutes now, you want to prepare excerpts. These excerpts don't have to be official orchestral excerpts in the Jeannie Backstresser book, blah, blah, blah. But they do need to be excerpts that you are comfortable playing, that you know very well, that you can just whip out like that from memory. So you want something that will go really high, you want something that will go really low so you can test out all the registers of the flute. You want something that's really legato and lyrical, and then you want something really playful and staccato so you can see what the flexibility of that flute is for you. Let's say lyrically and legato, it plays really beautifully with you, but then when it comes to like staccato and stuff like that and playing really fast and short, and it doesn't work that well for you, like, you don't want to be surprised after you purchase the instrument. Now granted, yes, you need to have a couple of excerpts to test out all these different things, but at the same time, you need to stick with only those few excerpts that you prepared and play them on every single flute you try. This is basically a straight up experiment, and your excerpts are your controlled variables. You remain the same and the excerpts remain the same. The flute is switching out. That's the only way that you can actually tell what the difference is between each flute. And my last tip is just to be open to which flute chooses you within your budget. I think a lot of times we go into these kinds of things with this sort of preconception and fantasy about what kind of flute you want to play. Some people dream about silver flutes, some people dream about gold flutes, some people dream about platinum flutes, but maybe their dream flute is not actually the flute that works the best with them. So that is it for this video. I hope this was informational for you guys. I hope some of you guys learned that there is this whole side of the flute industry that exists for your benefit. This kind of thing is actually very common for other companies of other instruments as well. This is not just for flutes. So if you didn't know about it, now you do! So take your time trying flutes, don't rush through the process, and most of all, have fun. If you like this video, make sure you hit subscribe to catch my next video, and hit the like button below to let me know that you did like this video. You guys can also follow me on my social media networks that are down there if you want to. Leave a comment below letting me know what you thought, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye. I thought I would also leave you guys with a few tips I thought I would also leave you guys with a few tips. I am totally burping in the middle of my sentences. I should not do that.